It's over. That elimination against Spain didn't just knock Portugal out of the World Cup. It brutally sealed the definitive end of the Cristiano Ronaldo era, with his national team in the most painful way possible. And with him gone, a mask that lasted over 20 years finally slips. Millions of people across the globe have just realised an uncomfortable truth that many refuse to admit. We were never fans of Portugal. Never. We always were. We are. And we always will be fans of him. From today, Portugal goes from being that team everyone wanted to see win to becoming the most rejected and hated side in world football. Not because of the country or its people, but because of the sheer arrogance of a squad and a federation that thought they were bigger than the man who dragged them out of obscurity, who dragged them out of the same bracket as teams like Finland, Georgia and Bulgaria, to name a few. They are left alone at the peak of their own ego, but the harsh reality that nobody cares about them without Cristiano Ronaldo will be the ultimate revenge, the greatest disappointment. Watching Cristiano wave goodbye to the World Cup without that trophy is a bitter pill to swallow, a scar that will never fade. It was the perfect script, the cinematic ending football ode to an impeccable career built on pure sacrifice and discipline. But reality was ruthless. What truly makes us furious as fans isn't just missing out on the trophy, it's watching a collective bottle job that was being cooked up from the inside. We saw a preview of this betrayal back in Qatar 2022 when they benched him in the biggest games, leaving him to walk down the tunnel in tears. In this 2026 World Cup, history repeated itself with even more shameless disrespect. While the entire world wanted to see the commander lift the one trophy he lacked, it seemed his own teammates had one goal: ignore him so they could try to steal the spotlight. Watching him run alone, dragging defenders away, fighting entire backlines while the guys supposed to feed him just stood there looking the other way. That image is etched forever as the greatest injustice of this era. That dream didn't die because Cristiano lacked hunger or sharpness on the pitch. It died because his egocentric, random team never had the stones to stand up and match his legacy. The historical debate inside Portugal. The most infuriating part of all is the selective amnesia running through Portugal, fueled by their own press and a section of their fan base. Some people, with a sickening lack of gratitude, are trying to spark ridiculous debates, placing legends like Eusébio or Figo on the same level or even above Cristiano. Look at the cold facts, without the nostalgia or the anti-Ronaldo bias. Before the bicho arrived, what was Portugal on the international stage? A mid-table side, a ghost team, a squad that spent entire decades watching tournaments on TV, and if they got lucky, making a semi-final once every 30 years just to blow it. Eusébio was world-class in the 60s. Figo had unbelievable class with the 2000 golden generation, but their trophy cabinets with the national team were completely empty. 0 official titles. Absolutely nothing won. Cristiano didn't just sit at the table of Portuguese football history. He built the table from scratch, bought the chairs, and forced the rest of the world to sit down and look at his country with respect. The beginnings of a phenomenon. Half the current squad seems to forget that the modern history of their shirt started with a 19-year-old kid crying his eyes out in the Euro 2004 final after a devastating defeat against Greece on home soil. 2 years later, at just 21 in the 2006 World Cup in Germany, he was already carrying the attack on his back, taking on world champions and driving Portugal into an historic semi-final. He wasn't the undisputed leader in the dressing room back then. The heavyweights of the old guard like Deco, Figo or Pauleta were still around. But on the pitch, it was obvious the fate of that nation rested on his feet. That defiance, his unstoppable pace, and that raw hunger to conquer the world were the warning signs that Portugal would stop being a mere passenger in big tournaments and turn into a genuine threat to football's elite. The man who changed history. The day of justice came in 2016. Winning the Euros in France is the greatest achievement in that nation's history across any sport. followed by the Nations League titles. Cristiano transformed a country used to losing into a team of champions. But of course, the haters immediately jump in with the same tired, mediocre argument. They say he got injured early in the 2016 final and didn't play the decider. What a pathetic argument, just trying to block out the sun with a finger. They conveniently hide the fact that without Cristiano, Portugal doesn't even make it past the group stage. They dragged themselves through as one of the best third-place teams because the number 7 bagged a saving brace against Hungary when they were dead and buried, and popped up with a vital assist in the round of 16 against Croatia. He carried them to Paris, giving them a belief they never possessed. Getting injured at the start from a savage tackle doesn't change the fact that his signature is on every single inch of that trophy, or that he spent the entire extra time managing the team from the touchline, because his weight in that dressing room was absolute. The misaligned generations. Cristiano's great tragedy with Portugal was a massive mismatch in timing, almost as if destiny played a cruel joke on him. His international career was split into 3 stages that felt like a curse. As a youngster, he played alongside talented players like Rui Costa, but he was still learning how to be a monster in the box. Then, when he hit his absolute peak, becoming the best player on the planet between 2010 and 2018, winning Ballons d'Or and Champions Leagues back-to-back with Real Madrid, he would look at his Portugal teammates and see a total desert of talent. A brutally limited squad, completely clueless, where the manager's only tactical plan was give the ball to Cristiano and pray he pulls off a 30-yard miracle. And finally, when this supposed crop of world-class media-hyped stars finally breaks through, his legs are catching up with him. He never had a truly elite team around him when he was at his most destructive and let down. The burning contrast with Argentina. And this is where the comparison with Argentina feels like a dagger in the back for us, the Commanders fans. When Lionel Messi needed his national team to back him up after losing so many finals, Argentine football understood the assignment perfectly. The new generation didn't try to compete with him for front-page headlines or fight over who would take the penalty. They built an army of loyal soldiers. Guys like Rodrigo de Paul, Cuti Romero or Enzo Fernandez turned into straight-up bodyguards on the pitch. They knew exactly that Messi was the greatest, and if they ran twice as hard, put in the tackles, defended and died for him, the genius would win them the games. They played for their king because they understood the historical moment. In Portugal, it was the exact opposite. Instead of protecting and shielding their ultimate icon in his final dances, the dressing room filled up with inflated egos, sour faces, and silent jealousy. The parasites of the current generation. Let's speak plainly and name the real culprits behind this absolute failure. Guys like Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Juan Neves, or João Cancelo. At their clubs, they are media-hyped stars, tearing it up every weekend in England or France, winning domestic leagues. But they put on the Portugal shirt in a massive game and turn into complete soulless randoms. You can see it on their faces, in their body language, and in that pathetic arrogance of trying to prove to the world that they don't need the commander to win. How many times did we see it in the last Euros and in this World Cup, where they prefer to play a useless back pass, go alone and lose the ball, or find literally anyone else, rather than putting a cross or a pass into space for a guy with over 900 career goals. It's a sickening level of pettiness. They bought into the lie that they were better off playing on their own, and the result is there for everyone to see. Humiliated and knocked out by Spain in the tournament that was meant to be their redemption. They proved that without Cristiano's aura, they go right back to being the same grey, irrelevant side they always were. Half the football world has lost all respect for them because of their sheer ingratitude. The upcoming desert. The commercial, financial and reputational hit the Portuguese FA is about to take after Cristiano's retirement is going to be a historic catastrophe. For 20 years, stadiums across Asia, America and Europe were packed with red and green shirts for one single reason: to see the number 7. They raked in millions of euros in TV rights, landed global sponsors who previously didn't even know where Lisbon was on a map, and became one of the most talked about brands on earth off the back of one man. Cristiano's permanent retirement is the start of a total desert for them. Those millions of fans who bought their gear and followed them on socials have already turned off the TV and unfollowed. There is zero reason to support a team packed with egocentric parasites who couldn't appreciate history while it was running right next to them on the pitch. Conclusion. Because of all this, from today, Portugal is officially crowned the most rejected and disliked team in world football. This feeling doesn't come from some random hatred toward their country or culture. It comes from the deep rage and helplessness of watching a bunch of spineless average players ruin the ending of the most beautiful journey in modern football. They didn't know how to be teammates. They didn't know how to show gratitude to the man who gave them an international identity. They wanted to shine on their own to protect their multi-million-pound transfers and ended up fading into pure collective mediocrity. For the millions of fans who stood by the commander through every battle and in every stadium, our subscription to Portugal is officially cancelled. And without us, this team goes right back to where it belongs, complete and utter irrelevance. What do you think? Who's going to manage that dressing room full of egos now? Can Bruno Fernandes and Vitinha actually win a major tournament on their own? Or will they go back to being a run-of-the-mill side now that nobody respects them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to read what you think. If you enjoyed this unfiltered breakdown, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything coming up after this end of an era in 2026, and I'll leave you with this other video right here. Thanks a lot. See you in the next one.